Slide 26, Lesson 2, Gender. In Hebrew, unlike English, words or things or nouns have gender, masculine or feminine. We don't have this in English, but in Hebrew, things like the earth, for example, that's actually a feminine word. The word for earth, or eretz, or aretz, is a feminine noun. It's the same for everything in Hebrew. Things can actually be masculine or feminine. A tree, a fish, a house. Things that in English are just called it, in Hebrew are called he or she. Feminine nouns can be identified because they have a hey tacked on the end of them. At least some of them do anyway. There are some exceptions to this general rule, of course. Masculine nouns don't have a hey, generally. For example, the word for king, Malik, mem, lamed, and final kaf. King. So that's masculine. The feminine word for queen is derived from the masculine word, and it's called Malka, mem, lamed, kaf, hey, Malka, queen. Similarly, the word for prophet, Navi. And if we want to say prophetess, it's Naviya. Naviya. Prophetess. The word for youth, Na'ar. Na'ar. Nun ayin resh. If we want to say maiden, Na'ara. Nun ayin resh hey. It's just it's the word nar with a hey at the end. Na'ar with a hey at the end, becoming Na'ara. The word for horse, Sus. We have a look at the female word, Susa, meaning a mare. It's just the word Sus with a hey at the end. So we can see the masculine word and the feminine word. And the only difference between them is that the feminine has a hey at the end. Now there are many other words, as I mentioned before, that don't have a hey at the end but are still feminine. For example, the word for earth. In the beginning, Yahweh created God, Elohim, created the heavens and the earth, Aretz. Well, the Aretz is feminine, but the heavens, Hashemayim, is a masculine word. Slide 27, Lesson 2, Nouns, Plurals. We'll see more examples of gender shortly, but another term that we need to discuss is something called plurals. In English, if we want to say more than one of something, we put an S at the end of the word. This is called a plural. For example, house, book, or law becomes houses, books, or laws. These are plurals. See, they have the S at the end. So plural is just a fancy way of saying more than one of something. And in English, we denote plural by putting an S on the end usually. In Hebrew, there are two letters that are added to the end of the word to signify a plural. And there are two types of plural endings, one called masculine and another called feminine. Masculine plural endings have the letters yod, mem at the end of them. This is a little cherik yod, which makes it an E sound. So this is im. So we add a im to the end of a word. Feminine plural endings have the letters ot added to the noun. So if we have a masculine word or noun, for example, a king, we want to say more than one king, we want to say kings, we put the im at the end. So king is malak and kings is malakim. If we wanted to say queens, queen, melcha, if we want to say queens, we say melchot. We put the ot at the end. So let's have a look at some examples. Slide 28, Lesson 2, Nouns, Plurals, Gender masculine. Remember that in slide 26 we said that in Hebrew words or nouns are either masculine or feminine, which is different to English. In English things are it, it's just a thing. But in Hebrew a thing is a male or a female thing. A house or a car or anything is masculine or feminine. And that changes the types of plural endings we put on the end. In English we just put an S on the end of anything, but in Hebrew we put an im or an ot at the end. So let's have a look at the masculine plural endings. Alright, first word is Seuss. Seuss, so it's a masculine singular noun, and that means horse. And the plural, Susim, horses, has the yod mem put at the end, so it becomes samak vav samak yod mem. By the way, just to remind you, the vav with the dot in it is being used as a vowel, so it's not a v sound, it's an u sound. So that says susim, susim, horses. Here's another masculine noun. These are all going to be masculine singular nouns. Shir, song, shin yod resh. And the plural is shirim, songs. In the Song of Songs, in Hebrew it's called Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs, Shir Shirim, Song of Songs. Devar, Dalet, Bait or Vait, Resh. Word, in the beginning was the Word. Bereshit haya hadavar, in the beginning was the Word that created the universe. And the plural is Davarim, Davarim. Dalet, Vait or Bait, Resh, Yod, Mem. Words. Sefer, Samak, Pei or Fei, Resh, Sefer. Book, book. And if we want to say books, it's Sefarim. So it's just Sefer with the Yod Mem at the end of it. Similarly, Malak, which we spoke of in the previous slide. King, And if we want to say kings, we say malachim. Mem, lamed, kaf, yod, mem. Malachim. Malachim. Ish, aleph, yod, shin. That means man. Adam means man also. But another word for man is ish. It's related to the word for fire, ish. It has a yod in it. If we want to say men, we say anashim. So here we've actually changed the word. So it's not ishim, it's anashim. We have a nun added. There's a few words where we make some changes like this, but these are not as common. So this is anashim, men. And see, in English, we don't always have an S to denote that it's more than one of. For example, we don't say mans for more than one man, we say men. So we don't put an S on it, we just change the A in man to an E sound. Am, or Am Israel, the people, Am. Amim, Amim, it's plural, Ayin Mem Yod Mem. So it goes from Ayin Mem, that's a final Mem, to Ayin Mem, same letter but it's not final, Yod Mem, and that means peoples. And the word for statute is chuk. And if we want to say statutes, we go chukim. Statutes, chukim. Chet, kuf, yod, mim. Chukim. Ben. Ben means son. And if we want to say sons, we say banim. Banim. Notice the vowels change also when we put the yod at the end. We don't need to memorize all the rules for all of that, but just be aware that the vowel changes under these words when we add letters to the front or middle or end of them. So ben, son, becomes benim, sons. And cloud, anan, ayin nun, nun is the nun and then the final nun. It's at the end. Anan means cloud. And the plural is ananim, ananim. Ayin nun, nun, yod, mem. So those two nuns are just these two nuns, but because this is no longer at the end of the word, it changes from a final nun to a normal regular nun, and that means clouds. So these are all masculine nouns, and so they all have masculine plural endings on them.